is this guy going? Let's see. There's tracks all over the place. And are these guys? They are. They're trying to get across. So we have infidels in King Hal's territory here. We've got a new army formed up here. Adrian the Bull. Entho the Black was just spinning circles out there, so we just disbanded him. We've got almost 2,000. We're heading south. And, you know, it's a bit of a gamble, right? In a situation like this, I think sometimes the risk analogies come to play. Sometimes when you have an enemy weakened to a serious state, now we're hemorrhaging, but that's just recruits. The recruits from these villages that we keep telling, give us your sons. That's not too big a deal. But I think it's time to stomp the Asarai, sort of snuff out their flame. And now we have two armies. They're not big, and I'm not sure that's all of the troops up there. But let's start an episode right here. We're at least going to have a siege. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back to our Epic Vlandian campaign, and hopefully you don't miss Leonidas' voice. It is actually possible for me to record an entire episode, do some fancy software online using AI, and sound like Leonidas for the whole episode. However, I sure don't plan on doing that because it feels like it steals my identity a little bit. I'm willing to use AI from time to time for some of the voiceovers here, but I don't want to use it too much anyways. Don't want to, you know, lose my nasally, gravelly old man voice, right? And the next thing you know, I'll be replaced by a robot and you guys won't even come to the channel. So we're going to try to stay authentic here. We don't use, you know, we're still a one-man gang here, right? We're doing our thing now. I'm trying to suss out who they're missing because I still have a strange process going on with the armies here. You can readily recruit armies that are in somebody else's army, which is a strange thing. Now, it looks like the Guzid or whoever was sieging Askar left, but there's still forces here at Sinala, and this is why I think it makes sense. Look at that. There's 1,000 defenders there. I think we can not only get there, but I think we can smash all these fruits inside Quyaz, right? All these date fruit, Asarai, round them all up, get them all into one trap, smash them all to pieces. And they will really be on their death's door, right? They'll have one city left, 1,500. That's very manageable here. We're a little banged up, right? We've been busy. Of course, we had that monstrous battle at Ortizia, probably last episode. And even though we're over our maximum, that's okay, right? We're hemorrhaging recruits. My tests lately have shown that most of the time, almost all of your deserters are from the lowest queue of troops. Okay, this is good. We've got all sorts of cities and castles under siege, and it does look like we had a few marauders out there helping. So they're ostensibly defending. Let's see here. Yeah, they're defending. So these are lake rats. We have had the lake rats and the Skolderbrodus for a long time. It's been a long time since either one of those clans left us, and when the Skolderbroda tried to leave us, I just instantly told the guy, STFU, get back in our army. A little strange process there. Presumably we have to pay him more. I don't even care, right? We have 3.37 million. We don't really give a shit. So there is an Asarai force north of us here, but I think we can siege Quyaz. There's a bunch of Asarai forces in there, wipe out all of those forces, and the Asarai at this stage have to be war weary. Even with the StrengthenAI mod, what we have found throughout the course of this campaign is that the enemy does wear down eventually, right? You basically have to beat the shit out of them compared to regular vanilla Bannerlord, where you just sort of bump into them a few times and they collapse in a heap. With all these mods, you know, the AI is a lot more resilient. Druamore Castle. So we're being assaulted in the north, and all I can do, of course, at this stage is hope that our vassals take care of business up there. We're going to do this fast. I'm going to do this with fire catapults. I usually don't do this, but I need to get over to Sinala and defend that. Doesn't do any good here if we save, or if we take Quyaz and fail to save Sinala. So going to do this in a hurry. the siege system continues to be kind of buggy, and I've had a bunch of different people suggest different things. It's possible that the RTS code got kind of messed up because I never had problems before. But you'll see in a moment here, I'm consistently getting the problem in siege. I imagine it'll replicate. Basically, the divisions get kind of screwy, and it's quite temperamental. But at least it's stable. We're going to be able to have a gigantic epic siege. And I actually really like offensive siege almost more than defensive siege because it's very much a chess game. You've got to move these pieces over here, anticipate this over there. You got to watch out for their bishop, you know, that they have on b4, you know, to make sure you don't get your rook taken. It's very strategic, and of course, strategy, tactics makes my heart beat. So I don't even know how much sense it makes to get into the early creation. You can see we have 8 divisions. I guess we can break the second up. Sometimes it sticks archers in there. Usually it sticks archers in there. Zeus has been steadily managing our javelin divisions, right? It's always nice to have Zeus. You got the son of Zeus in a division. That's good luck to win, right? He's ripping. We can get some of these other units just sort of moved aside here because, like I said, I think once we start this battle, you'll see them all mixed again, right? So I do want, you know, to move up our ranged units here aggressively. This is not going to be an easy siege, right? They have fire catapults. They're going to do a lot of damage outside, and I'll remind you, the reinforcement system is kicking. There's definitely a chance we get backdoored here by a large force. I'm going to use the 8th as a reserve division. Try to tuck them off to the side. We'll have at least 2 divisions holding fire. In a situation like this, where you have two siege towers, look at these guys, they're just leaving their post. It's a violation of the UCMJ, motherfuckers. You're leaving your post, and you can see second, third, fourth. The first, third, and fourth all merged to the 4th. I don't know what's causing this, and if you guys know, I would love to know. I've tried reloading the RTS mod. You know, of course, we have the latest RTS mod for 1.21, and it's still doing this. Fortunately, it's done it enough that 30 seconds, give or take, I can sort of fix everything. The units are now assigned, and although they might not use the RAM, we'll see. Everything seems in order here. We'll pull the 5th, 2nd, 1st up. Let's get our archers moved up here, but we also don't need to use overwhelming force at the beginning. I've learned to pace myself in siege. The enemy has unlimited ammo, and you don't. And that's especially poignant, especially problematic. Catch this, you fucker. It's especially problematic when, of course, you get backdoored, right? I'm going to keep a couple divisions basically on hold fire most of this siege, anticipating the possibility, you know, that Guzid or Wazuban or somebody ominous looms up behind us with an army. Wazuban escaped. Motherfucker is 7'4", and somehow he sneaks through the jail bars every time. Your higher ranking nobles do seem to escape from prison easier. And I'll remind you fellas, I don't use those. I think there's 2 perks where you can use them both and prisoners never escape. Well, that's a little bit like going to a wrestling championship. You know, you're all excited and you shoot the guy in the face with a gun, and you're like, "I win, yeah!" Well, I mean, you knocked your guy out, but what fun is there in that? I mean, I guess shit. I guess unless you're a psychopathic murderer and then you had some fun or whatever. But I want the challenge, and I think that needs to be nerfed. Those should not stack. You should never be able to keep somebody in prison forever, right? Ask the guy who snuck out of Alcatraz, right, or the 2 or 3 guys or whatever. Nothing. You should never be able to, and it's all nobles, right? And then guys just, I win, I captured everybody. I'm not a fan of that. We have started to treat prisoners, you know, like you normally do. We're taking prisoners. That sucks. We lost that side. Let's see here. All these troops are kind of unnecessary. I guess we can leave an archer corps. They're getting shelled. We just had a Skolder Broda guy get smoked. There's not much I can do about it. There's no way I can get up to the tower there on that siege tower. The enemy's going to have 50,000 infantrymen. And the fact that they destroyed a siege tower was likely, but I still lament it. It's going to make this siege much harder. 2nd, 5th. Let's get the 7th. Let's get the... eventually, I want to move the 8th Division over here as a rear guard. This is going to be our main access to the castle, right, or to the city. We're not going to be able to access the door here for a hot minute, and when we do, the ram is working. When we do, there's going to be 850,000, I counted them, 850,000 Asarai forces in the courtyard. It's going to be packed. We have the Battlesize mod going, right? So there's going to be forces fucking everywhere. Some guys want 10,000, units on the field at the same time. Well, they would obviously have to expand the size of the battlefield because this is 2,000, and it feels a little bit like a college sporting event that's sold out 2 weeks ago. There are fucking troops everywhere. It's kind of crowded, and of course, inside the cities, they are completely packed, right? Like, well, you'll see soon. We'll be able to get up there on the walls. I'll be able to you guys know. I don't have to explain it to you. There's going to be 1,000 fucks standing in the courtyard awaiting our arrival. And they're killing pretty well right now, right? A lot of those kills are actually probably javelins right here. These guys push through, motherfuckers. I'm not asking. Get in there. There's hardly any guys here. Shove. In fact, let's get a blockade here. The enemy's trying to come up over there. Not anymore. We just shoved a giant square on the ramparts. We just opened up this left side. Now we've still got to kill the guys that are here. There's a bunch of guys pouring out of the tower. Fucking banner knights and shit. But not many units now are comparing to the offensive weaponry of Hal here. King Hal is... It's so funny because you guys, if you watch the whole campaign... Yeah, I see you in there. You guys, you probably remember the 4 or 5 episodes where he was an unbelievably weak bitch. Yeah, we're being pounded with javelins. I mean, that is being pounded. But they're using it on our best troops. Excuse me. They're using it on our armored troops. Let's get the 8th Corps here as a reserve division. And let's infiltrate this tower with the 2nd, 5th, and 6th. You little fucker. I see you in there trying to throw your javelin. Fucker. Attack him. This guy's just standing there. Do something. There's no fire catapults over here, so not really much we can do about it. They're on the other side. They're shelling us. Not much point, gathering up a bunch of fire catapults. And here's the methodical part, right? Our guys are coming up the ladder, maybe 20 a minute, give or take, 30 a minute, something like that. And I've got to get 200, 300, 400 guys in here to make an assault. This is why I like offensive siege. Right, when you have an opportunity like this, take it. Right, we're like a bunch of fugitives sneaking into the or out of the jail. Right, we're basically going to pile up troops over here until we have maybe 150, 200. Then we can start getting archers on the walls and really start making a push. We're going to have to coordinate it with divisions at the gate though too. Right, we've got to be able to use both these accesses. They got units plugging up the gate. I did shove a square that's slowly pushing its way through, even though, it does look like they're suffering grievous losses there. Look at this. There's a fucking javelin store right here. I bet you guys didn't know there was actually a store here to pick up javelins. They're free 99. My favorite price. It was just laying on the ground. And the AI is very interested in the troops on the wall and not paying me much attention at all. Let's get some skirmishers behind him here. There's some heavy blows on the walls. And I don't see anything going on in the courtyard. There's the 850,000 troops down there. It's just completely packed. I can't tell if our guys on the ram did their job or not. A lot of times, and it's something they fixed with the 1.3, they don't ride out the ram the whole way. They will basically abandon it and get stuck. So I may have to actually go out there and help these morons get the ram going. Before we do that, though, we're going to set up a nasty little prickly wave of skirmishers and crossbow here and start smoking the enemy down there. At least give them an argument, right? They're hitting us with all kinds of javelins right now, and we're definitely suffering some losses, but if we can get more troops there, I think we can overwhelm their troops. 4th, 5th, 6th. I'm going to leave the 8th outside, maybe the 7th. You little fuckers trying to reinforce it. They're all trying to get to the reinforcement spot. Oh, a bunch of fucks. Party pooping motherfuckers. And we are being pounded right here. It's a classic battle, right? We have a lot of units with javelins. Look at this guy walking like he's John Wayne. That guy was all confident and shit. He was like, yeah, I'm the boss. And then he got killed quickly. This guy's accumulating javelins in their shields. Just hold tight, man. We're getting reinforcements. The gate must not be open. You stupid fuckers. Yeah, guard this. Get your carcass out of my way. I'm in a hurry. All right, let's just jump out here. Fuck it. We'll lose about 20% health. That's all right. We do have that perk that reduces it. That wasn't bad at all. All right, let's get your troops down there. 4th, 5th. I just want 1 or 2 divisions pushing through the gate here. That way, the enemy's a little bit pressured and can't send 50,000 units at us where we are. If we get overwhelmed in that spot, I want to be able to at least have the main gate to come in behind the enemy. Nice little... They're throwing javelins at me still. You just keep throwing them, you dipshit. Here, you stupid fuck. Catch. Some little militia. He's like, I see them, boss. They're down there. I see. I got a shot. Gets hit by an expertly thrown sharpened stick right in the groin. Just penetrates your testicle and goes out your buttock. It's stuck in you and your life is over. The guys like it how I revel in the violence. Fuck yeah, you're playing a violent video game. Let's have violence in video games, and you mention it all the time. Let's have violence in video games and be nice people outside of games. I think that's the greatest use for video games. It's basically an outlet, just like sports. They started inventing sport. It's not a coincidence that international sports took off after World War II, right? After we were done killing each other en masse. We needed some other way to get out our fucking animal instinct or violent instincts. And video games and sports are great outlets. So is the gym. If you got the right girlfriend or the wrong one, so is the bedroom, right? There's some violent women out there. I used to have... I better not tell you. Channel be banned from YouTube in a hurry. I'll just put it this way. I had a girlfriend at one point or another that was very much into suffering, which wasn't my thing, just for the record, you know, like you guys actually give a shit. But there's people out there, and usually, of course, it's a product of abuse or something else strange. But some people like to suffer. Now I'm going to play the terrorist here. I've got a big pile of explodable rounds here, and I have the enemy packed, and it's just Christmas. For my throwing skill, too, this is going to be kaboom. All right, this guy's still leveling up his throwing skill. I'm going to throw a bunch of these because of the aforementioned chess game. It's going to take us a couple 4 minutes. Strap yourself in. This might get gnarly. The courtyard is completely packed. It is, 840,000 now. We've killed 10,000. There's still 840,000. We could start to use the back door. There's an alleyway. I think we can access the enemy, but we got to get a lot more troops in before we start to do things like flanking. There's carcasses everywhere. It's just a beautifully violent game. And she was a beautiful, violent woman. Fortunately, she didn't want to commit violence on me. Anyways, enough of that shit. You guys don't need to know any of my fucking early life sexual escapades. But the human being, very violent animal, and sports is good, right? Like dodgeball is almost a visceral reincarnation of violence. When I play dodgeball, I'm a fucking combatant. I'm out there trying to hurt people and shit. I throw the ball very hard, and guys don't want to get hit by it. They get fucking rocked. I was the captain of a volleyball team, and I got into the psychological warfare. They had all these foo-foo names, and weird. They were wearing costumes and shit, weird fucking costumes, and some of them they were showing up with aprons and all kinds of, I don't want to say they're feminine, but, well, they were fucking feminine. They weren't alpha male, and we came out with blue fucking Braveheart war paint, and they're like, what's the name of your team? Intent to kill. And then we're doing coordinated tactics and obliterating people with 100-mile-an-hour dodgeball throws. It was awesome. Just melted the poor competition. Fortunately, there were no fatalities, even though I tried to kill some. Nobody died, right? It was a violent affair. Their team got murdered, right? We absolutely murdered some teams, and we're murdering this force here. It's just a charnel house on the walls. There's still an unbelievable... I mean, look at that shit. It's rad. That is your StrengthenAI mod and Battlesize mod, right? The enemy has an unbelievable amount of troops. And as much as our guys are trying, they can't penetrate it. This is sweet. We got companions up here. Shoot them. Now, troops are still trickling in, and I think pretty soon here we can start pushing around that alleyway there. I'll show you in a minute. We're going to do it. Get some more archers set up here. I don't want to pull the 8th Corps. For you fellas that are playing a very similar campaign, if you're using the reinforcement system, make sure you leave a division or two outside. Why is that? Especially here, because all of your units will get queued up on that siege tower. And when they get queued up on it, you lose a lot of control. You can't tell them to square, to go over here, to do this and that. These guys are totally jammed up still. I mean, I'm doing my part. Get in there, boys. Let's go around. Let's save you guys a little bit of time here. You know, I want to get into the city, too. That's the other part of this. If we get reinforcements and you're outside, it's much harder to deal with them. Right? You want to get into the hen house and eat all the chickens before the farmer comes, right? Something like that. They're trickling down, but it really is like 20 a minute. And, you know, we've got a lot to... It'll be like 100 minutes if I do this slow. So let's take the back alleyway here. I'll do a little division here. Let's add a few divisions from the 8th Corps. One last little terrorist explosion here right in the heart of the enemy defenses. And we'll coordinate it, right, by pulling units through the main gate. These guys are all out of ammo, man. And that's the thing I mentioned before. Your troops run out, right? In siege, you got to manage that shit, and I haven't done a very good job. The 6th, though, does. So the 6th Corps, I just merged with some units from the 8th. These guys got ammo. I see wildlings. Let's get archers up here in this alleyway. And this is one of the coolest parts of Bannerlord. It's highly functional. You could fight in the alleyways. We could go inside that little building right there with all the pots and form a little square while our archers rake. But I think blunt force here is appropriate just to speed the episode along. But it is a highly functioning part of Bannerlord, right? The alleyways work. The pathfinding for the AI is pretty good, right? They'll find you in that little pottery shop too, right? Those axemen will look for you. Where are you going, Jagoff? They're starting to rout. We've got a division starting to squeeze through the main gate. It's a lot of forces, though. We're definitely going to have to do some dirty work here. And look at that. That Legionnaire, or that Bannerlord did 4 damage to me with this elite armor. I mean, it's kind of a cheat code, right? You got this and then a reduced melee taking damage banner and a whole bunch of other perks. And, you know, even on the hardest difficulty, amplified to the moon. Oh shit, those are all banner nuts. I run. Get in here. Even on the hardest difficulty, our army is really starting to hit its stride. It's been quite a while since we suffered a serious defeat. We're still suffering losses, right? You know, you Patreon supporters, you folks that are riding out this campaign with the king. Oh shit, there's a lord. Kill him. Ah! She says, ah! Hold on to your hats, right? The death for all is definitely going to continue to be a factor. This Asarai force got munched. Now we've got recruits coming in, so that tells you that we have all our units on the battlefield because we're the highest unit prioritization. It's kind of nice. Those guys are going to get some EXP. They get the visceral sight of, you know, people being disemboweled in horrific war shit, and presumably, you know, they stick on some better armor and they become an infantryman. So a clean siege and no reinforcements, and maybe it wasn't exhilarating. I don't always control the flow of it. Hopefully you guys are satisfied with battles like this mixed in, right? Sometimes I edit these out, but that was interesting enough, and I'm caffeinated, so we just narrate right through that shit. Retreated to the keep, huh? And I've seen this before. Okay, so I still don't understand what's happening here. I think the AI didn't want to join the siege, basically, but it's attacking us kind of like 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the... What happens if we just attack? It's open field battle, right? It's like we're halfway into the city. It's not very realistic, but again, the reinforcement mod it's a mod, right? It's just someone doing the very best they can with the game engine. And I guess if I continue siege preparations, I don't know how this will work. Maybe they'll attack us? They have 15. There's 15. Okay, yeah, they are going to attack us. So it's an odd structure. I guess we could just, if you want to fantasize, or I guess you don't want to fantasize. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you want to fantasize about Isna, the Asarai lady up there. If you want to just we'll just pretend that, I guess, that this battle happened first, and then we sieged, right? Because that can happen. You can get attacked outside the city, and then have your siege, right? After you defend yourself, and then siege. But this is a little bit disjointed. Oh well, we'll fight it out still. We could lose this battle here, so let's sit up straight, get a little caffeine. All right, Berwin, manning the 2nd Division. Marco, let's stick you in the 3rd. Remaris in the 4th, right? Love it, all you supporters, right? Getting you guys into this campaign. Don't die, fellas, right? You guys don't drink 10 beers a night. You guys gonna get liver cirrhosis, right? Let's have healthy lives. That way you guys can keep coming back to the channel, right? Supporting the channel. Nah, in all seriousness, I greatly appreciate it. We got a great army. Even though we're banged up here from that siege, we still got a bunch of wildlings and lake rats. I see Skolderbroda galore. We have the Skolderbroda with it, and of course we also have some Varangians that are sneaking in. I'll probably start ditching them. We'll leave them in cities and stuff like that. I don't want these advantages. We're playing an amalgamated version of Bannerlord, right? We have advantages. We're purposefully trying to level companions. We're not running around naked, but at the same time, I want this to be very challenging. And you guys have noticed, right? King Hal and company are starting to steamroll everything, and it's not close.
Cavalry, move! Infect, move! Soldier, square! Infect, foot, move! Follow me!
All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to spread a C formation. You guys are used to it by now. You guys are probably experts at it. Jump, horse. Fucking worthless horse. Let's put the 5th, 6th, 7th all up here. We'll have mobility. They're uphill. They're going to be firing down into the flank of the enemy as they attack our main forces. In the center, we've got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the normal defensive structure. That's the 1st is in a square, the 2nd is in a circle, and then the 3rd is behind them. Skirmishers, basically, your fast-moving shock troops, in theory anyways. This guy came through couch-lanced. He missed. Let's see if we can't kill him with a javelin throw. Eat it! I would say he's lucky, but man, is that hard moving at that speed to hit an object. Plus, he's swerving all over the place. And I should have, remembered, of course, they have 800 hit points, so it's not like I would have killed him anyways. All right, it's doing its job, right? Horse archers shooting, they're hitting shields. Good job, boys. You guys keep on attacking our defensive structures. Good, good. Where's the rest of their troops? They're taking their sweet-ass time. Lots of infantry, lots and lots of cavalry, so it's going to be messy. Cavalry always make battles messy because they're squirrely. They're running all over the place. They're trying to flank you. Eventually, cavalry just form a gigantic blob. It actually really looks like the online version, giant Bannerlord battles. There are coordinated ones. Some guys are like, hey, you should go do the coordinated Bannerlord. I would have a steep learning curve, and I would not tolerate like guys freelancing and shit like that. I would want to drill the guys. I don't think people would like to fight for me, right? I would be like Frederick the Great. I'd be, well, that's presumptuous. I would be, point though is I would be drilling my guys and basically demanding, that they pay attention and follow instructions and do what they're supposed to do, right? Do their jobs. And I'm sure a lot of players are just trying to have fun. That's the last thing I want is some fucking pompous American telling them what's up. We got enough of those already. All right, well, the enemy's in the fucking grinder here. We've got skirmishers. We're going to back this skirmisher division up. They're in a square short term because the enemy's attacking our strong side here. That's fine. The 1st and 3rd can attack. We've got a great position here for our archers. Now they're switching their attention. Now we can get horse archers, and they're on our side, buddy. Their archers are kind of obscured by the ridge. My horse is running 300 miles an hour. Yeah, and it's basically just the enemy cavalry and infantry. They're totally penned up. Get over here, 8th Corps. They're totally jammed up on our 2nd, 3rd, and 1st Division. Let's come in behind here and just... Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Right, they're just completely exterminated here. And they're tough. I like the Vanguard Ferris. Fellas on the channel know that. Vanguard Ferris are tough little fuckers. They got that, that smaller shield. But they've got some good defensive skills, although as the screen flushed green just as fast as it could. All right, you know what we got here? You fellas all see it right now, right? You got to reverse slope the climb. The enemy has very little vision here. They can't really see us till they come over that ridge. We're going to take advantage of it. Right? Cut some down, some cavalrymen here coming for us. King Hal the Menace. Let's kill this Eagle Standard here, right? In the late modern era, they had their Eagle Standard. Some dude would hold the fucking flag, trying not to get killed. Well, we're going to make sure they die. Alright, let's hold this ridge. We'll probably burst over it at some point, but let's just minimize casualties here, right? We still got Sinala to defend. I was going to say siege. Hopefully we don't have to siege it. Key to this strategy, as always, right? Color within the lines. We're going to stay on our side of the ridge, at least until there's the right opportunity. And look at that hail of arrows. We've got skirmishers, we've got crossbow, archers, horse archers, and it's just a flaming of enemy troops. I mean, they're just being broken up. Guys are being hit in the face with a legendary glaive. You know, that shit would hurt. And this battle is going to be over in the blink of an eye. I think let's start considering offense here. I don't really have as many heavy cavalry as I want. We have a lot of horse archers, but I might swing them around in an aggressive flank and just try to make the enemy rout. The 3rd Division's mixed of infantry and cavalry. I think it's worth it. We're alright. We may lose some guys here. We'll press the center, move the archers up, get horse archers in a cav division on the flank. It has a great angle here, right? That's a good spot for your horse archers to be. They're going to get shelled with javelins, though. They're going to get hammered with archers. You know, there's no question that sitting behind that ridge till the cows come home is the correct play. Guys ask sometimes, how come you did this? How come we don't always do what's logical? Because I know people are watching. I know guys don't want to watch a methodical 2-hour battle every other episode. So sometimes we're going to speed play. And sometimes I just make mistakes, right? You guys got to... I'm definitely prone to mistakes, often. Ask my wife, right? You're going to make mistakes in Bannerlord. It's an incredibly complex game. There's a lot of shit going on. It's taken me thousands of hours just to get to this comfort level. And I still make mistakes all the time. I'll get to the end of a critical battle. We barely win. Or maybe even lose. And we had a division on hold fire for the whole battle. So, or you try to jump spear a guy like that and look like a bitch. It's a hard game, right? So, mistakes are good. Mistakes are a learning process. In the fire service, you know, when we do all kinds of drills, we want people to make mistakes. We'd much rather people make mistakes on the drill ground when we're training than in real life where someone gets hurt or killed. And this enemy's just getting blown off the battlefield. We've now taken this ridge, so I'm going to move archers up here. We've got horse archers. Can start moving cavalry forward too, but the enemy here is rocked. We're tearing some limbs. They just got a huge batch of reinforcements, and they still have good cav, but you notice the direction they're running? They're not running at us. And I don't blame them, right? You got all these cons guards just going crazy. This guy paid for it. Imagine this poor guy here. He does everything he can to plant his feet and handle the charge. He times it perfectly. And that little starter is the enemy saying, fuck this. You can hear all their commanders with the Immersive Battlefield mod. Retreat! You can actually hear them. One for the road, you Asarai bitches. But that poor guy with the spear, he came up and was like, oh my god, here he comes, he's coming fast. And he finally gets a hit and stands at my horse, and he gets decked to the ground, and before he can get up, he gets cut down by a legendary glaive. Just, they can write on his tombstone, I tried, but failed. What do we got here? We got some low-level cavalry that wants to be exterminated. We will comply with their request. And this battle is over. We'll start to speed through some of the late stages of some of these battles, especially the blowouts. Oh shit, oh shit. Okay, Karsten of the Brotherhood. I think the forest people, that's theirs. Yeah, we don't have any forest people. So we didn't lose any companions, thank goodness, right? We got some more skills, right? Henry's evil savage wife got 12 kills, right? Henry's thrilled about it. And she outdid him, right? We'll have to rib Henry the next time Hal's hanging out with him. No doubt his wife is going to be ribbing. What a weak bitch Henry is. Of course, if you remember, Henry was keen to insult Hal for being so puny. Yeah, I don't think he's doing that anymore. All right, do some upgrades here, and let's head to Sinala. I'm going to continue to gather prisoners. There's a whole nother war to be fought, right? Not only are the Sturgians still alive, but the Guzid and these guys, man, 160 one-handed. I try to give them props every time I can. Get more of those guys in your army. You will have success. But the Guzid loom large still in this campaign, right? Genghis Khan, 15 or 150 years before he existed. He's into our campaign here just to make it salty. And they're not at war with anybody else, right? It's a coalition. So just like Napoleon here, we're up against all of Europe / Calradia. And I was going to say, there can't be another stage to this siege. Hurry up. I got more battles to fight here. Talavel Castle? Our whole kingdom is under siege by Sturgians. What the fuck?
You have my deepest thanks.
We'll take this guy. Maybe, shit, except he's released, right? Okay. I'll take some Beni Zilal. We'll take some more javelin throwers, right? Those are some of the best javelin throwers in the game. They're basically a mobile lake rat without a shield. I don't know why they don't have it. I guess if they had a shield, they'd be overpowered. All right, we got some legendary curved boots for the next time we take the lady out to the local tavern here. And it's about time we visited a tavern, right? It's about time I hung out with you guys and had some drinks. It's about time for a drunken episode, right? I don't do it very often. I get blasted like 2-3 times a year. I went to a nice Halloween party a while ago with my wife and got totally blasted, was dancing with everybody, vomited all over the place after we got home, outside fortunately. But I like to play Bannerlord, seriously buzzed. I can't play it totally drunk, but it's fun to play significantly buzzed. And apologies for this here, I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm going to dump a bunch of troops in the garrison. We can leave some Vlandians. And just very quickly here, we're going to put our cons guards. Wow. That's nice. We got a lot of cons guards, right? We have like 100. So we're in good shape still. Not quite 100. We can continue this invasion for sure. And it's nice, right? All those recruits that we got from all the villages go there, right? We can just dump them in the garrison here. Dump a little bit of food on Quyaz, and then it's on to Sinala. But I like to play Bannerlord buzzed. And so far, the reception has been pretty good, right? I haven't gotten too lewd or crude or anything like that. The good thing is, I'm never going to be racist or hateful because I'm a nice drunk. I'm a really nice guy. And they say you're your true self when you're drunk. So, I don't know. I hope that's the case because I'm a pretty darn nice guy then. As long as you're not on the other dodgeball team. All right. That's the guy. He's going to go to the city. And see, we're going to make it. 700 troops still at Sinala. See how beautiful that is. This is something that comes with experience. And most of you guys are probably doing this. But a lot of people's instincts is just to run to Sinala. We can multitask. And don't forget, the armies sieging Sinala are slowly getting weakened by sieging down that garrison. It's 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, these guys, they're going after the kitten and letting the cat escape here, right, to steal from Lord of the Rings. I wish they would deal with the Guzid, but you know what that tells you? That Carbanthus, whoever the Guzid is there, it's a lot of them. Look at Wazuban is doing some lowly work. He's raiding villages just like his dad. 50 years ago, Wazuban was out all raiding villages through this area, and now the son is destitute and is reduced to raiding villages because we have shellacked his kingdom. The Guzid loom large, right? And this is, let's get her, right? That's Wazuban's wife. And she's also directly ported over from the Asarai campaign. I love that shit that you guys... Abconer is besieged. God, it's just an assault. How many fucking castles are under siege here? Under siege, under siege, under siege. Now, of course, you know, you just say peace. All our vassals want it, but we're role-playing. And this is a little bit shades of one of the first series I put on YouTube, which is basically a deathmatch campaign. Now, at that stage, all of the kingdoms were still left. And I went to war with all of them, just to see how difficult it was. I won't tell you the results, just in case you want to go see. And there is no chronological playlist, because I had like a month of YouTube experience, you know, when I started filming those. So the audio quality is shit. The music is terrible. I didn't make a single penny from it all, because it's all the money goes to Hans Zimmer and other people. But it was a nice learning process for me with Bannerlord. And speak of the old dog right here, Wazuban. I love it. I'm going to keep clicking on it. Running from Hell, right? Wazuban, this legendary warlord that some of you guys are probably still fond of, is running from King Hal here. You guys wouldn't have enjoyed it, right? If Wazuban just dominated, King Hal was a slave, and the end, right? This episode, this playlist is complete, right? On some level, you guys want to have success, and you've earned it, right? There's been a lot of defeats in this campaign. We've had a lot of brutal losses. We've had a lot of sad moments, right? Losing family members, losing rows, assassinations. Those aren't sad, of course. I made that shit happen. And you know what? I actually want to let him by, because I don't want him adding in reinforcements, right? He's going to go to Ain Balik. He's going to go over here somewhere. Good, right? Because if he's too close, he'll enter this battle as a reinforcement, and very quickly, you know, you might be getting what I was just saying, where Wazuban is toting Hal around like a bitch. This is already going to be a tall order here. Do some upgrades. We've still got extra troops. We're still hemorrhaging, but we just picked up villagers. We ordered all these villagers. Give us your sons. They're the first to die. 2,200. All right. That's doable. And there's some names here, right? That's another guy who said, hey, can I get my character? And I said, do you want to be the enemy, right, with your character? And so he's a direct port. Al-Azim, I think. That is Alexander the Great, right? I threw on the I think that's the pronunciation of it, because, of course, I wanted you guys to have a feel that he's Arabic or Asarai. He sort of looks Arabic, and I imagine on some level Alexander the Great probably had some nice, very dark skin, right? That portion of the world, people have that sort of lustrous tan olive skin. I don't know, before someone gets angry, it says Alexander the Great was white, and whatever. I imagine it's probably pretty historically accurate. Do this real quickly here, and we're going to back up. I don't know what they're going to do here, and this is just good basic command, right? Anytime you're in a battle, you can't see the enemy and you get dumped in, just pull back. Because if they're attacking you and you just charge forward, your units are out of sorts. Their hair is all disheveled and shit. You want to get your units set and see what the enemy's doing. It does look like they're coming, too, so we're going to start to set up our normal crane defense here. 336 cavalry? Holy fuck. So they're just going to have a legion of Vanguard Ferris. Well, I don't know if you guys saw, it is the supposed Sultan here. Guzid is here. So we better make work of this force, right? Because Wazuban still could enter this battle. That is a lot of Ferris. Just the whole battlefield is covered with heavy horse. All right, let's go ahead and push into them here with our cavalry on defense for now. We're going to attack from our right to our left. Try not to get scorched by javelins here. All right, let's start circling. First, third, and sixth can move up. I'm holding fire with the skirmishers for the time being because their infantry's coming up. I don't want them throwing javelins yet. Oh shit, sorry dude. Let's just try to run right through these guys for the moment. Actually, let's get Cav here to block their archers. Horse archers behind the enemy. Those guys can stand still. Start shooting right into the back of the enemy. Beautiful. First, third, second. And let's get the archers off to the side here. Yeah, it's just Vanguard Ferris everywhere. And they're deadly, right? And I've mentioned this on the channel a lot. When you're playing the Asarai, if the death spam looks bad early on, you just got to weather the storm. They're dumping all of their javelins into your troops. It's going to happen. If you could survive that, though, your odds of beating the Asarai increase dramatically. They're basically like Batman in the final Dark Knight fighting Bane. You fight just like a young man with nothing held back. Admirable, but foolish. I don't do a very good Bane voice. I imagine you can have an AI Bane voice. That would have been early. Alright, this is exactly what we want. They're in here now without a lot of javelins, and we have our infantry all going crazy. We have our cav divisions. Is that Guzid right there? Might be. Looks like him. He's got a fucking huge vanguard here. And this is a proper force. There's a huge amount of Asarai cavalry here. This is the kind of force a Sultan should have around him, right? A huge amount of elite units. Those guys up 4th and 5th. I'm just going to keep them back, right? The enemy's trying to circle us. Some people might say we're cheesing it and using the back of the map. Whatever. This is where we were started from, right? And sometimes you have no choice. We'll say we're using these mountains. And actually, I imagine most of the guys that watch this, you guys don't, you're not calling cheese. You're not a grouchy internet troll. You guys are supporters, right? I should stop saying shit like that because most of you guys probably never say shit like that. It is what it is, right? We're pressed against the fucking mountains here. Get out of here, Consguard. Alright, we've got horse archers cutting off their circle attempt. Of course, we're using the side of the map here. It is what it is. Oh shit, you look like the enemy, dude. Sorry. Oh shit, so did you. Well, when your accuracy's deadly and you can't tell what you're throwing at. Yeah. Moving on. This is their horse archers. So they got a lot of horse archers, but man, do we have a good front. It's a bad battlefield for horse archers, right? At least the way they're trying to use them. They should get creative. The AI never does. Like if it took a hard flank to this side here and then set up, it would be pretty deadly. But they're not gonna. They're gonna go counterclockwise. Their archers are way back. Not really any threat to us. I hear Longshank's voice. Not the archers. Their archers are miles away and no threat to us. Send in the infantry and cavalry. And send in the Irish. The dead cost nothing. Of course, no offense if you're Irish. It's a fucking great movie. And Ireland had a great role in Braveheart. Of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's some of the epic scenes from Braveheart. The Irish actually had a great role. I thought that character, that was sort of the Irish, de facto king, was an amazing character. That guy, the crazy Irishman, it's awesome. He's like a great warrior. He's super shrewd and intelligent, and yet he acts crazy. I just thought it was a great character creation. And he's not like he's a sort of a stereotypical drunk, worthless Irishman, right? Those tropes are overused, seriously overused, and probably offensive to millions of people. So I thought it was great. Even though Mel Gibson probably has some apologies to make to the Jewish community, I thought Braveheart was one of the best movies of all time. All right, that looks good. Let's keep closing off that angle, and this enemy is getting rocked. This is basically 3 battles in a row if you count the siege, where our enemy has looked like just a complete crash test dummy getting obliterated in slow-mo. Now we got to kill efficiently here still. I'm not just going to F1, F3, right? Wazoo bomb. At any moment, reinforcements may arrive. Right now, we did lower the distance, right? For the guys who are like, is it even on anymore? When we experimented it early in this campaign, it was on like a huge distance. Reinforcements could come away like an unrealistic distance, right? They would come across the whole fucking, not just the whole battlefield, but the whole campaign map. They would come 2 days away and they would just instantly appear. Not very realistic. We've got a lot more realism to it now. You still get reinforcements. It's just not troops that are, a fucking continent away. And this battle, unless something changes, is very much over. The enemy's coming to us. The Asarai is one of the most aggressive kingdoms. They actually have a lot of good troops and a lot of good archers here. I guess it's an opportunity for us to charge with the center, lots of strong infantry, and then blow them up with some Consguards here, right? We've got Consguards. We can just trample these guys. I'm getting more and more experience and enjoyment out of doing this shit, especially because this is practice for the 1.3. With the changes to cavalry, you're fully able now to completely trample the shit out of the enemy with cavalry, with especially spear cavalry, but even Khan's guards are going to be more effective just because the AI swings its weapons more accurately. It just, you know, they've made improvements and they're significant, right? Get the fuck out of here. I'm busy, dude. I got this little pathetic equite trying to poke me for 3. Yeah, we're going to kill all your archers for that, you piece of shit. Here comes the Khan's guards and the heavy cav trampling everything. Charge. Yeah, the screen flushes green. I mean, imagine what those troops are facing. They're trying to move up and shoot our infantry. They're being, you know, javelins chucked at them. And they can't shoot because all of them are being knocked around by Khan's guards and trampled by heavy cavalry. I mean, it's a bad day to be an archer. And this force is routing, or at least some of these troops are routing. Let's take the bridge. Let's put the 7th, 4th, 2nd. We can get infantry divisions in squares. And you bitches, that's it, huh? You guys are, you're not going to fight for the Sultan? We just gained a level. And it's been just another rampage episode. For the guys who want suspense, we'll see. Right? I don't know. Maybe we will simply roll over the rest of the map in this campaign. And maybe we won't. It's got to end some point, right? King Hal's going to get executed. He's going to get taken prisoner by Genghis Khan. I better not say shit because you never know. That'd be funny if that actually happened now. Now we got the enemy completely bottled up. Archers in positions. Let's split the infantry to both these little bridges. Push those infantry forward. Khan's guards are raking. We've got a whole bunch of archers moving up. And checkmate. They're bringing forces up though. So I kind of punked them for not fighting for the Sultan. They are. They're trying to make a little meager attempt here. Little raggedy horse archers are coming up. And this is what I mentioned before. I think I mentioned it this episode. Our enemy here, the Asarai, are extremely war-weary. These are tier 2, 3 horse archers. They have tier 2 and 3 cavalry. Now, they did have an elite wave still. Right? It's not like they're completely impotent. But with the late waves of this battle, the enemy's basically looking like Napoleon in 1814. They're out of cavalry. Okay, they have cavalry. You know what I mean. They're running on fumes, and all of these defeats are starting to add up. And their forces are packing it in. They're like, fuck this shit. They're like, we knew Sultan Guzid was an idiot. Now Wazuman, right, is still out there. And can't be taken lightly, that's for sure. And I didn't see the Sultan anywhere, which is too bad. I've been kind of looking for his death spam. But that's alright. We'll probably take him prisoner or afterwards. There he is! Oh shit, his little peasants are protecting him. Protect the king! Kill this. Oh, he wants to fight. Let's go. Fuck yeah. I got a fucking legendary glaive for your ass. Just mangling him. He just routed. Here, one for the road, you bitch. Wouldn't that be demoralizing? He gets laid. Imagine you're a soldier right now in the Asarai army. First, you get devastated in a battle and you're trying to regroup, right? You're trying to reposition and reform your lines somewhere. And then this maniac comes flying in with his glaive and just carves apart everybody. Then the Sultan, tries to fight the guy and gets completely butchered, and then he screams like a girl and runs, and then he gets killed by being hit in the back with a javelin. An ignominious fall for Sultan Guzid, even though I like Guzid, of course, the Asarai campaign. King Hal is the real man of this campaign. He's slathered in blood, and our force here is ascendant. Even though it's not the full army, right? We don't have 2,600. Oh, shit. Well, I heard gods never die. I don't know about their sons. The son of Zeus just died. But it was a hell of a run, brother. And, you know, it's part of the game. What's this shit? Oh, these are the forces that routed. Yeah, well, I think we can just auto-resolve this. You know, the deaths are starting to stack up, and even in an auto-resolve, we're having death. Again, the death for all mod being cranked. It adds a layer of consequence to every battle, right? That was a battle where Guzid could have died. That must be the tallest woman in the game. And I appreciate, you know, the support, Zeus. I think, again, that was another Patreon supporter. I get the names mixed up. I'm not going to try to tell you the name of such and such guy, except like Marco, because that's his actual name, right? There are some, or Rose, that's her actual name. There are some people that use their actual name, and that's cool. Those I shouldn't have a hard time remembering, right? Because it's Berwyn. If you're Berwyn or Gothrin or whatever. Of course, I know that's you, Apollo. I appreciate the support. And finally, we get a nice large bag of Jarids here. Took it off of Guzid's corpse. And I think this is good, right? That cascading avalanche of Asarai destruction, I think, is a good way to wrap up this episode. Of course, you know the campaign's not over. I'm going to try to take this campaign right up, if not to a little bit past the DLC. Everybody's going to be busy with the DLC, including me. And of course, it won't surprise you that what you're watching right now, I probably filmed a week or two in advance. All right, friends, if you want to see more, of course, from our campaign, now's your time to subscribe. If you want to see what happens here in the conclusive battles of this campaign, King Hal against this coalition force, now's your time to subscribe. I appreciate all the comments, the criticism, everything, right? As long as you guys aren't just punking me out for being a boomer, I appreciate you fellas. On the way out, hit that like button. Oh yeah, and hit the hype button. There's a new hype button. If you could hit that on the way out, I would appreciate that, friends. And I will see you fellas next time.